It is 2:36 in the afternoon for me, and that is a good afternoon to you. Got a video to go through. I will interrupt from time to time to interject my my thoughts on the matter, but let's just go ahead and jump into this right quick.
I think there are more protesters right now than family members. Some of the family members who were here earlier, we talked to them and they moved back a little bit. They're trying to gather them all together so they can try to get them some legal representation. A lot of the people you see here are protesters who really are angry about this whole thing. And I don't know if we have the time. Do you want me to try to talk to somebody and find out what brought them here?
Sure.
You know, and I don't know that, like I said, some of these people, excuse me, I don't know if you're... Are you guys up to talking, telling us personally why you're here? I mean, obviously, I know why you're here, but what brings you personally here? What makes you so angry about this? Who are you?
I'm local to here, and I can't stand around and watch things that I believe to be abhorrent happen without coming out and representing what I believe to be correct.
Before seeing this kind of thing happen, were you active going out of protest, or is this the kind of thing that just changed it for you?
I keep check on the news, and when things come around locally, like this, it becomes more my problem, but I do stay informed.
Okay. And you do, I mean, you're ready to face gas canisters if they throw them at you. It's that important to you.
It's important to stand up for what you believe in and to fight against fascism as it rears its head, and to not allow everything to escalate and continue to move forward at the negative pace that it has been moving.
Thank you so much for talking to us. I appreciate that.
Well, the individual says they stay informed, and it's good to be informed. I'm definitely not gonna criticize that, but it's what you're informed about and the information that you've received to inform you. And it seems to me this individual didn't do their research. They say they're informed. I don't believe that they're informed with the proper information, or they wouldn't be there. So let's see what happens next, huh?
You know, he echoes a lot of the people we've been talking to, and those are the people who don't necessarily have family members working in there.
Right.
This is becoming a rallying cry for some people, not for all. There are people like the one we saw earlier who agrees with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that is also another side of this issue.
Maybe we can show some video of that, which was a little earlier. A supporter
Did we have that ready?
Of this, and that supporter was not really.
Peaceful protests. I want to just remind everybody, this is a peaceful protest.
Met with a lot of other support. You see him basically being, have some water, look like dumped on him, and being taunted. More water thrown. People waving a Mexican flag in his face as they walk.
Check the guy in the white T-shirt with the purple face mask. The coward with the baggy pants and a stupid-looking hat.
Through America, and
they wanted to get him out of here.
Is the guy punched?
It looked like it.
No,
Wow.
it got nasty. It got nasty. We followed it for a while because we wanted to keep an eye on him. He was by himself.
Wow.
And
Yeah, but let's keep it peaceful now. That's important. Got to keep it peaceful. And I don't think this individual did the smartest thing by coming out to this event as a supporter for ICE alone. You know, that was probably not the most intelligent idea.
I didn't see the beginning of it, but I did see when people started talking back to him, and he started trying to make it to his car, and as you can see, it got quite nasty. At one point, people were going after him. Now, I have to say that's the only person like that we have seen here, and he did make it to his car. Near the end, people were saying, let him go, let him go. We don't want to hurt somebody. We don't want to be seen like this. So even within the protesters, there's that dissent of, don't get...
Notice how they attack him and then run away. They attacked him and they ran away. See, this guy ran back a good 15 feet after he hit him. Why? He's a coward. The individual, the larger person in the darker T-shirt that hit the man in the back of the head or side of the head, and then ran off past the camera. Why? He's a coward. That's what cowards do.
Get violent, don't overdo it. But definitely when it is hot like it is today, when people are tired, things are going to happen. But the man did get in his car and he did drive away. That we did see. But after, after being forcefully pushed out of here, very forcefully.
If you don't like tear gas, don't make people that can fire the tear gas canisters feel threatened. Simple, perfect, logical.
Do not panic, do not run! Do not run! Stay calm!
Okay, this guy here, I don't know what, he's like, what, 20 years old or something? And he's crying like a little baby because his mom was taken away, so they say. But I think he just got a good dose of tear gas in the eyes. And if you don't like the tear gas, don't do the protests like that. I'm not saying anything solid about it because I don't know the man. I don't need to know the man. So I can't say for certain. But what I can say is this. That's not a child.
They took your mom?
And now we're getting new details about the California pot farm, which became the scene of a massive standoff between ICE agents and protesters last week. Agents managed to apprehend over 360 illegal immigrants at the farm, including 14 underage minors.
14 underage children who were working at this farm. Now, I don't know if they wanted to work at the farm or if they were forced to work at the farm. I have no idea. But even if they wanted to work at the farm, they were children, 14 years old. Now, I don't know what California's labor laws is like, but 14 years old, if they could be legally employed, they would have been, one would think.
And now we're learning more about the farm's owner. Glasshouse Farms president and co-founder Graham Farrar has been called a pioneer in growing so-called environmentally friendly cannabis. And he has a history of donating to Democratic candidates and causes, including a hefty $10,000 donation to Gavin Newsom.
And there it is. There it is. Now, I don't know this man. Never met him before. I don't know what the conditions of his life were like. But it makes one wonder, was he doing all these illegal things because he had a good relationship with the governor? I don't know. I don't know anybody who does know, as far as I know, you know?
Back in 2018. Meanwhile, Democratic California leaders are still working to oppose immigration enforcement however they can. That includes Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, who's rolling out a new plan to give cash cards to families allegedly threatened by ICE.
But we also are going to have a reinstitution of the Angelino card, something that Mayor Garcetti started during COVID, that will actually provide cash assistance to people. Because, you know, you have people who don't want to leave their homes, who are not going to work.
Can you see how this can be abused? Let's give them a cash card with some cash on it, a couple of $100 or whatever, just because they don't want to go to work. They don't want to go to work. That's fine. Don't worry about it. If you don't want to go to work, we'll just pay you for doing nothing. Now, before I was forced onto disability, I worked. I worked hard. And I didn't mind. In fact, at the factory work, I enjoyed factory work. I liked working with my hands. But there are just some people who have absolutely no desire to do anything to contribute. And they're going to pay those people to just sit at home and watch the ball game. And who knows what they're doing with that money? Is it going, is it going into the beer can? Is it going into the syringe? Is it going into the Coke straw? I don't know. Is it going for the kids? Is it going for Christmas? I don't know. I'm not there. But it just seems silly to pay people for doing absolutely nothing.
And they are in need of cash. It's a couple $100. I don't know the exact amount, and this should be available in about a week.
She's the mayor. She's the mayor. And she doesn't know how much money she's going to be giving people. Money that they really shouldn't be getting anyway. Now, I understand. All I can really draw from is my own world experience, which I admit could be, compared to some, limited. But I paid into the system for like 3/4 of my life, So I'm just getting back money that I paid in. It's my money. But this, and she doesn't even know how much that they're getting.
Steve, so like we talked about, you're staunchly in the lead in California gubernatorial polls right now. So talk to us, how and why does your message resonate with the majority of Californians right now on these topics?
This is such a great, terrible example of what's been going wrong in California, because you've got people in charge who not only won't enforce the law, they undermine the law. And you're seeing it on this issue of illegal immigration, and it's playing out for the whole country to see. But we've also seen it on crime more generally, the way that retail theft, shoplifting's been tolerated. We've seen...
This man came to the U.S. from England. He's a Brit. Seems like a decent guy. Seems pretty sharp. All right, he's got his ducks in a row. He has a strong moral compass, and he's running for governor of California. People might get a little nervous. They say, I don't want him to be my governor because he talks funny. Well, maybe it might be that he doesn't talk just exactly like somebody else who's been there all their lives. But it doesn't mean he wouldn't do a good job. So let's just listen to what he has to say.
On homelessness, it's illegal for these encampments to be there. They've been there for years, and these politicians have done nothing about it. Now you have federal law being enforced by the federal administration, and they're saying, not only we're not going to help you, we're going to stand in your way, we're going to cheer on the people who are throwing rocks at our law enforcement agents, and we're going to pay for the organizations that are protesting this. And all of it could be avoided if...
The encampments, now I feel bad because I was homeless. I know what it's like. And it's not pleasant, and not everybody is homeless due to their own fault. Just because somebody's homeless, it doesn't mean that they wanted to be that way. It's not because they're lazy. Some people just are a victim of circumstance in the truest sense. But the encampments have caused nothing but hardship for the areas that they're in. The trash is everywhere. You've got hypodermic needles laying around. You've got people defecating in the street. You've got people who are sick. There have been cases where people have died in their tents in these encampments for lack of medical care. There's no clean drinking water. Horrible situation to be in. Never, ever try to set up a campground in the middle of a busy city. It just doesn't work.
they would just work with ICE to get these dangerous criminals out of our country. And it's not just federal law that they're breaking when they don't do that, even state law, even the California sanctuary state law has a provision in it that allows for discretion for local law enforcement to work with ICE when you're talking about people who within the last 15 years have been convicted of a long list of crimes. This lawlessness has to stop, and that's what I will do as governor.
So California, the law enforcement there, can actually make the choice. Okay, they can say, officer's discretion, we're going to work with ICE. They could do that, even if they're given an order not to, because the order not to do it is illegal. It's against the law. So they can deny that order. They can say, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's against the law, and I'm an enforcer of the law. I took an oath to defend the law and the Constitution. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work with ICE. The officers can say that. They can do it. It's a choice. But they choose not to.
Quick follow-up for you, Steve, because the current governor, Gavin Newsom, who has enjoyed donations by that pop farm owner before he came out lambasting federal involvement there, you know, his prior comments were sort of clearly moderate. It was, you know, don't come illegally and we're going to deport you and I'm all for legal immigration, etc. But now it seems that he's gone extremely radical, certainly on recent podcasts. It's a stark contrast. He's clearly running for the national stage. Talk to us about what that impact is on current Californians who need a governor now.
Gavin Newsom was all for coming into the country lawfully, and he was against coming into the country unlawfully. Now he has done a complete 180 because there's money in it.
Well, it seems that he's really not interested in doing his job as governor of California, because what's he doing? He's going on all these podcasts. He's in South Carolina last week. He's trolling President Trump on social media. I mean, these are the things that actually are far removed from the policy challenges we have in California. We've got the highest rate of poverty in the country. We pay the highest taxes, the highest costs for gas, electricity, water. We had the highest unemployment rate in the whole country.
The single most expensive state to live in for the individual. If you look at all some of the numbers, if you look at them all as a whole, they look passable, maybe. But for the individual living there, it's almost impossible.
For most of last year. Where is the response to any of that? It's non-existent. That's the kind of serious change that we need to see. But instead, you've got Karen Bass just worrying about her own re-election next year for mayor of Los Angeles after the disaster of the wildfires. Gavin Newsom clearly focused on running for president. We need someone who's going to deal with our problems in California.
Can you imagine Gavin Newsom's president? After what he did to California, he wants to be president. Oh, mother mayhem.
So I'm looking at what you gave me, the California governor statewide polls, sample size 2012 registered voters. This is a big poll. Steve Hilton leading by 19% over Katie Porter. It's tight with her until you factor in those people who can't quite make up their minds, those undecided. You say there's about 30% of the electorate out there that hasn't made up their minds. Then the gap between you and Katie Porter gets greater. You factor in Kamala Harris, Katie Porter falls to third place, and you and Kamala are battling it out. So talk to me. I don't know that those candidates that I'm looking at here are attacking any of the things that we're reporting on.
No.
I mean, everything that Emily just set up, I don't see it coming from them.
No, and the interesting thing is that we've had 15 years now of one-party rule in California, and the results are there. It's the worst results on everything that matters, the highest housing costs. I could go on all hour about everything that's gone wrong, but of course what people want is someone to put things right, a positive change, and I think that's what people are responding to, and what's encouraging. Look, it's very early. You know, the election is next June. We've barely begun campaigning, but what's really clear is that I'm there there as the leading challenger, which whatever the scenario is, whether it's Kamala Harris or Katie Porter, any of these people, I'm the leading challenger to this 15 years of one-party rule. By the way, it'll be a big thing for the country if we can save California. We're the fourth biggest economy in the world. Imagine how far we could power again with real positive leadership.
And now there are whispers in the wings about California wanting to secede from the Union. That would be not good for the United States overall. Huge, huge amount of seaports over there, incoming goods, and so on. So California is like, it's the whole western seaboard of the United States. And a lot of the goods still come in on ships. Okay, and a lot of those goods land on the western seaboard. So if they were to secede, then we would have to actually negotiate some sort of trade deal where we are allowed access to some docks, or try to lease some ports or something. Whole terrible ball of melting wet sticky wax.
Well, it's also just bringing sanity back to California and the country. And what happened at these farms in California, these pot farms, is the definition of insanity. And it gives you a perspective on the Democrat Party's worldview, where heroes are villains and villains are heroes. Let's look at the play-by-play. So on July 10th, you have ICE and other federal authorities go and raid these pot farms. They arrest at least 360 illegal aliens, 14 children they found that they were worried about that had been rescued from potential exploitation, forced labor, and human trafficking. 10 were unaccompanied. And then, by the way, some of these individuals they arrested, guess what they've been convicted of? You've got rape, child molestation, kidnapping during the operation, according to DHS. So instead of saying, hey...
These are the people that these protesters have been told to defend by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party said, here, go, take this money and go and fight to keep those people free. These are the people they're fighting for that did these terrible things. Now, there are some people who are in that bunch probably who have never done those things, but they're still in the country illegally. It's still illegal. They still have to go by the law. The law. Not anything else. Not a matter of feelings. It's not a matter of anything like it. It's the law to go. They have to go according to a law that's already established.
Look, that's really good. Right? Let's praise ICE officials for saving these children, rescuing these children. What happened? You had hundreds go in protest, including, attacking federal agents, firing a gun at a federal agent, and then you have a congressman accused of doxing one of the ICE agents as well, on top of it. And then, oh, by the way, just to sum it all up, the owner of the pot farm donated to Democrats.
Yeah. Oh, there's a $50,000 bounty on if people can give information that gets this gunman at this protest arrested. The one who ran from ICE, and as he's running, he turns around with his gun in his hand. People are in front of him. Other protesters are right in front of him. And so he fires his gun like this in the direction of ICE, but there's people between ICE and him. Just imagine that. This person has such little regard for anyone else's life, maybe even his own, and he's shooting through a crowd of people who are on his side. It's insane. It's not reasonable.
Does that not tell you everything about today's Democrat Party and what's wrong with this party?
And Rosanna, we've seen polls just recently that reflect that the majority of Americans across the board now support illegal immigration deportment deportation in addition to those with criminal records. So the fact that you have these state officials that are refusing to work with ICE officials.
Deportment. If it's not, that's not a word, it should be.
They're straight up obstructing the federal government in their execution of these duties that were a mandate by the American people, and you contrast that with the will of the people, it's horrifying.
I mean, you look at Mayor Bass, right? She's offering gift cards out. She's not saying exactly how much is on those gift cards. She doesn't know. She doesn't know.
Wow.
Harris, do you think she doesn't know? She knows she's giving out gift cards, but she doesn't know how much is on the gift cards. Another way to keep some of those people, you know, hidden. And the city of Los Angeles, $1 billion in debt.
Yes.
In debt.
Amazing. And she's handing out free money to people who are illegally here.
And Steve, and then let's not forget about the people that were, you know, ravaged by the wildfires. I'm not talking about the celebrities. They'll be fine. I'm sure their insurance will work at some point. But there were real working class neighborhoods that were there for generations after generations that need help. Where are they? Nothing's been done in those areas, Steve.
They don't even talk about it.
And people are, and the really awful thing, just very briefly, is that people are giving up. The bureaucracy, the insurance, the nightmare, they're giving up, they're abandoning, and then that means you're going to lose the single-family homes. They want to build apartments and destroy the California dream. It's awful.
It's so different.
How long, if they haven't started already, will it take for California to just start taking people's houses, whole neighborhoods, but through public domain, all right? And saying, hey, we're going to take this from you, and we're going to give you what we think is fair market value, which you know it's not going to be fair market value. And then they tear down all those houses, which has been people's lifeblood that paid for that. They worked hard for it, and now it's going to be gone, and it could be gone. And they would probably build low-income neighborhoods and migrant shelters. I wonder how long it's going to take for that to happen. I don't know that it's going to. It might not. But it would surprise me if it didn't.
Yeah, Florida will take them. Yeah. My home state of Arizona will take them.
Well, it's not too late for California, thanks to leadership like you and your mission and your vision.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Go, Steve.
ICE and CBP raided 2 licensed California cannabis farms last week owned by glasshouse greenhouses targeting human trafficking and immigration violations. The operation rescued at least 14 migrant children forced into labor.
What's important here is that ICE has now been given the okay from the president to use whatever force is necessary to defend themselves. Things are going to get even more wild.
And detained over 300 undocumented workers. Helicopters were needed to bring in water and other supplies for law enforcement personnel. Agents were dressed in riot gear, and there were armored vehicles present. Protesters at the Camarillo site threw rocks, damaging ICE vehicles. Agents used tear gas in response. One worker died after falling from a greenhouse roof. Officials say he was not being chased. The FBI
He was hiding in the rafters of this building. And lost his footing, lost his handhold. Horrible thing to happen. Horrible thing. It should have never been a condition where that was a possibility. That person shouldn't have been there so that could happen to them.
offers $50,000 for information on a protester who fired at agents. Investigations are ongoing.
So there we have it. People who aren't supposed to be in the country. Some of them have done terrible, horrendous things to other people. Not all of them. I think that a good portion of them are hardworking, decent people who broke the law by coming across the border. I think it's a possibility they just didn't understand the magnitude of that. Now, so they're in there working. And that's fine. But I just did a video just a little while ago where it talks about how much it takes to get a green card, how much money it costs, the process that you go through. It's not that complicated. Time consuming, but not complicated. And it doesn't cost half as much as people think it does. In fact, it costs so much less than hiring a smuggler to bring somebody in illegal. Just walk in, use the money that you would have used to give them to smuggler, all right? The money you would have given to the smuggler, use it yourself to become a lawful permanent resident in the United States. You can do it. You know, they say in the Adam Sandler movies, you can do it. You know? So all these people are out there talking about these things and have a slight idea of what they're talking about. I hear people say some of the craziest things. Some of the craziest things. Because they listen to the news. They listen to the news and they never do their own research. Go find out. If you are reasonably intelligent, you are capable of finding this information. I do it. I've preached on that enough, seriously. But if I can do it, anybody can. So, take the time. Go out and find the information. Be a person who knows what they're talking about. Don't spread lies. No matter how important or smart it makes you sound, don't spread lies. So, if you would please, take the time, drop a comment, hit the like button, share the video, give us a follow. Be greatly appreciated. And I want to thank you for your time. God bless you. God bless America.